This idea that discipline is a privilege is something I've been toying with in my own life recently. When it came to me, it was more in the physical sense, is what this video would be geared toward. But thinking about it, it seems like it would apply to every aspect of our lives. So first thing, what is discipline and what is a privilege? A privilege, I looked up the definition, is an advantage that you have over someone or something else. And discipline is a set of beliefs and values that you use to control yourself, self-control. And the root word of discipline is discerni, some kind of Latin word for learn. And when I asked my soul, why is discipline a privilege, I was given the visual of someone climbing a mountain, as that's the example of the discipline and the privilege. And when you're at a disadvantage, when you're not disciplined, you are not climbing them. Not only are you not climbing the mountain, you don't know it exists, you don't know it is a thing, and you're walking the other way in the darkness. And so for me, the mountain is our purpose. This is our higher calling. This is our evolution, the growth that we came into this world to lean into. And so having this discipline to climb our mountain, to lean into our growth and evolution, it puts us at an advantage over all the people that really have no idea about these higher callings, about any of these concepts that if you're watching this video, you are obviously privy to, and you're obviously looking into growth and expansion. Otherwise, you wouldn't watch this channel. That's what this channel is all about. So it was a fascinating kind of idea that clicked for me, because physically I wasn't able to take care of my body. In the beginning of this year, I had ACL surgery. I was bedridden, and really up until like recently, like this last couple weeks, I couldn't do the physical exercise that I wanted to do. Like I could do some upper body pull-ups and some little upper body things, but really because I had to be so gentle with my knee, I couldn't do full body workouts. I couldn't engage my core. I could barely walk, and I'm finally back to walking and running slowly but surely. I'm still healing, but this idea that I wasn't able to be disciplined with my body. I wasn't able to put in the work that I needed to do to take care of myself. And I think it's totally natural and part of everybody's journey, where the universe tells you just sit down, take a seat, and think about your life, reflect, and you're gonna have to go through this rebirth. And that includes going through a death, which is its own alchemical process that we all have to go through, regardless of our situation. And so I think it's normal for the universe to tell you to sit down and take a break and reflect. And I guess now that I'm finally coming out of that reflection, I can finally get back into the routine of discipline, of waking up early, doing my meditations, doing my exercise, and getting that momentum going that wouldn't say it's necessary, but it's so much easier when I have that physical momentum. Because I look at this life, body, whatever you want to call, as 3 different layers. We have the physical, we have the mental, and then we have the soul. And each level is a different frequency and a different aspect of being a human. And so the physical level, if we can take care of our physical health and get that momentum going, that makes it easier to move into the mental sphere, where we can get into negative thinking, we can get trapped in our mind. All these programs begin to appear, all the shadows that we all carry that we need to look at and integrate. All that is easier to deal with when our body is healthy and we're taking care of ourselves and we're on this positive momentum. And then when we get into the soul, it is much harder to nail down. It's much more ethereal, and really to talk about it is impossible, to put it bluntly. It's still fun to talk around it, and I love to talk about parables and different stories that can kind of point towards it. But ultimately, the soul, it's beyond a definition. It's beyond encapsulating. Whereas the body, there's very clear metrics when I take care of my body. When let's say I can squat this much weight, I can run this far, my body fat is this number, I can stretch this far, I can hold my breath this long. Like, there are very clear objective truths to my body. And they're not the same clear objective truths when we move into the mind and the soul. But getting those objective truths and getting that positive momentum, like I talked about, that gets you into this state where you're open and you can begin to look at your mind and contemplate the soul and integrate these higher frequencies. And so discipline being an advantage, even just the idea of being disciplined. If you're watching this video still, some people have no concept of what it means to be disciplined. Just, they had no examples in their life. There was no one to show them, and they're just that, like I said in the beginning of that symbol of the mountain and not knowing the mountain, they have no concept of there's a mountain to climb, there's a purpose. They haven't found that yet, and that's totally fine. There's no rush. The soul has infinite time to learn these lessons. There's no hurry whatsoever. But if you are on this mountain and you are moving into your evolution and your higher purpose and you're growing, which is an advantage because you're going to have a different perspective on life. When you start climbing that mountain, you'll begin to see further distance. When you look back, you'll be able to see all the places that you climbed, and then you can still see there's no end. There's no end to this game. It just keeps growing and going and gets more complex and more subtle. So the mountain never ends. And really, fulfillment comes from that evolution, comes from that growth. Because if you have all the money in the world, everything's completely perfect, you would cease to exist. When something is perfect, there's no more growth in it. You want to be in an imperfect state so that you can continuously refine yourself and continuously make this climb up the mountain. And if you don't know what your higher purpose is, there are actually a lot of tools now between astrology, human design, gene keys, and even your own meditation, your own intuition. When you calm down your nervous system, when you relax and you create space for your soul to speak to you, you'll begin to get these downloads and these intuitions that you necessarily don't need all these systems, but they certainly will reinforce what your intuitive knowing already is. So I guess with that, that was my observation. I guess it can apply financially, it can apply to your relationships, how you take care of your house, your car, any aspect of your life. Without discipline, it's going to just be a mess. It's going to be more difficult. Things won't run as smoothly. Like if you don't take care of your car and you try and use it, it's going to break down. And the same with your body. If you try and use your body without taking care of it, it's going to break down. And I've seen it with people now that I've been around this earth for 34 years. I've seen people that didn't take care of their body and it just totally backfired and broke down on them, and a lot of them aren't here anymore. So there's major value and importance in discipline when it comes to taking care of your physical vessel. And that's where, like I said, it all starts. It all starts in the physical, and then we can move up into these higher realms. So if this is interesting, if this resonates, if you want to find out your higher purpose, if you're curious, that's one of the things I offer is readings, looking at your astrology, your birth chart, through all these different systems that I have learned over the years. And it can point you into how to climb your mountain. If you're interested, book a session with me on the website. Tell me why tell me what you're interested in learning, what you want to grow into, and I'd love to be your guide in that sense. Otherwise, I love you. Have a great day. Ciao.